liberty's voice, Levin TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Levin.
Thank you. Marco Rubio, would you raise your hand? He was supposed to be here. Probably went to McDonald's. Well, I want to thank you all for coming here. Conservative Review Inaugural Conservative Convention. Well, you haven't heard me yet. We're here today to make it crystal clear, not only in South Carolina, but across the country, that we are proud, true, unapologetic conservatives. We are not going to take a back seat to anyone, any group, or any political party. From this place forward, we will demonstrate the will, the strength, and the wisdom of our movement, and we declare here and now that it will be our solemn mission to wrench this great republic from the iron grip of the statists in both parties and their surrogates in the federal courts and in the federal bureaucracy. We are not anarchists, we are constitutionalists. We do not seek to fundamentally transform our country. We seek to take our country back from those who fundamentally screwed it up. Now, the left rules by the mob and by imperial fiat alike. They are relentless. When they win elections, they claim a mandate from the people. When they lose elections, they rule through unelected branches of government. And too often this tyranny is acquiesced to and views as the inevitable decline of the American Republic. We're supposed to go as the Greek and Roman republics went. I say nuts. We conservatives, we Americans, we the people, we are the progeny of the American Revolution. An 8.5-year bloody war for independence and liberty against the most powerful nation on the face of the earth. And we remember the heroes who fought at Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill and Yorktown and all the other battles. We are the children and the grandchildren of the heroes who defeated Hitler and Tojo and Mussolini. We are the fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters of the heroes who are fighting the Islamic genocidal murders from one hellhole to the next. We are the American people, and we're different from other people. And in all these wars and all these battles, all the blood, all the suffering, what were these patriots fighting for? Food stamps? The Department of Education? From the Revolution to today, they were and are fighting for liberty. For the Constitution, for the Republic. Now, in context, this makes our political and cultural battles here at home seem a lot easier. Although they're nonviolent, in fact, they're more complicated. The statists use the instrumentalities of a free people against them. In other words, the institutions that grew out of the civil society are turned against the civil society. So our principles, beliefs, and values are crucially important. They're the antidote to the soft but growing tyranny. And if anyone is confused about what we conservatives mean by our principles, beliefs, and values, they can consult the Bible, the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution. Now, we're in the middle of a difficult battle. It's even a daunting battle. And some have already surrendered with pronouncement that conservatism has failed, or that conservatism needs to be modernized and updated with populism and nationalism. Bullcrap. Let me remind you that despite all of it, conservatism has scored significant victories. Where is the Soviet Union today? It's dead. Reagan pushed the communists out of Central America. He pushed the communists out of Angola. He pushed the communists out of Moscow. He pushed the communists out of East Germany. Conservatism works. And Reagan created nationally syndicated conservative talk radio by deregulating broadcasting. Conservatism gave us the late, great Antonin Scalia. The problem is not the failure of conservatism. The problem is those who proclaim conservatism to get elected and then reject it once elected. In the last 100 years, there have been essentially two conservative presidents, Calvin Coolidge and Ronald Reagan. Hey, look, I'm not a politician. I'm reading my speech. That's the way it is. I don't give a lot of speeches. But on the other hand, unlike Obama, I write my own speeches. And I want the president to know I have a pen too. And even more, we have what's called the Constitution. You can have your pen, we'll keep our Constitution. I even have an Obama phone somewhere here, I think. That's pretty good. So we've had basically two conservative presidents in a century who've held office for 15 years combined. What do you say we elect a third one? We need to give the American people a choice between liberty and tyranny, between capitalism and socialism, between constitutionalism and lawlessness, between national security and appeasement, and between faith and secularism. Now is not the time for compromise. Now is the time for victory. I'm fond of quoting Thomas Paine. Reagan was fond of quoting Thomas Paine. George Washington was fond of quoting Thomas Paine. As a matter of fact, the night before the Battle of Trenton, on December 23, Thomas Paine wrote in part these words: "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman." Washington read that and more to the troops before the Battle of Trenton. Their backs were literally against it. The British were on the move. He had just fled New York. The British figured they had him pinned down, what was left of the American colonists, against the Delaware River. But Washington outwitted him. And you know the story of the Battle of Trenton. Way too many American patriots and conservatives are prepared to surrender their liberty, are prepared to accept the muddledness of candidates who are running in this primary, and the recent conversion to sudden principles that they never held before in their lives. This is not a time to take chances. We're not befuddled and confounded about this, are we? We've said time and time and time again, we need a conservative, haven't we? Yeah. We have a conservative, don't we? Yeah. It's time for all conservatives to come home now and do the right thing. And if you're a conservative, you know what the right thing is. And you know what I mean. This election in South Carolina is very, very important. The election in every state is very, very important. We have to fight in each and every one of them. We will lose some, we will win some. But in the end, we need to win. We cannot leave it. We cannot leave it to commentators on TV. We cannot leave this election to people in Washington, D.C. who pull the strings of other candidates. We cannot leave it to others to determine our fate. This is the time, in the middle of a primary. This is the time to stand up and be heard. This is the time to make sure your family and your friends and your neighbors show up and do the right thing. Each and every one of you is a Paul or Paulette Revere. Each and every one of you need to take this message throughout your community, throughout your neighborhood. Each and every one of you are responsible not only for your own votes, but the votes of your family and your friends and your community. Nobody can stop us if we don't stop ourselves. God bless you, and God bless America, and thank you for coming.